Very good morning to you. Welcome to the fourth and final day of Beltec 2020. My name is Bill Wilson. I work for Kainos. One of the hats I wear is Technology Director for the Internet of Things and Smart Cities. So it's probably no surprise that Tom Gray has asked me to curate this track this morning. But before we get on to that, let me just tell you a few of the things that you can look forward to later on in Beltec. At 11:20, Brian Ogdus from one of our sponsors, Allstate, will be talking about the effect that COVID-19 has had on driving behaviour and wider transportation issues. After that, there's a couple of presentations on the Belfast digital ambition, followed by a panel debate called the Future Pandemic City or the Post-Pandemic City. And then at 12:40, Seamus Cushy from Bazaar Voice will be giving our closing keynote. And we just take a moment to acknowledge our business partners. You can see their logos at the top of the screen there, and we'll be hearing more from them throughout the morning. Also, if you're just joining Beltec today, don't worry, the previous 3 days worth of content is all available online, and you can access that through the Beltec website. If you're someone who likes to tweet, we're using the hashtag Beltec20. And if you have any questions for our speakers this morning, as they're going along, do feel free to use the YouTube chat channel to put those questions in. At the end, we'll be having a panel debate, and I'll be able to use those questions and put them to the speakers. I've called this track Intelligent Edge, Intelligent Cloud, Intelligent Choices. The first two things I've stolen shamelessly from Microsoft. But I think as we go along, we will find that there are some interesting IoT use cases that raise potential questions about not just what the technology is capable of, but what is desirable. In our next 2 hours together, another 2 million connected devices will come online around the world. Now, those devices are making an increasingly major difference to our smart factories, smart buildings, smart hospitals, smart cities, smart vehicles. And increasingly, we're using them to make our homes a little bit smarter as well. Speaking of which, I picked up an IoT device from my bathroom this morning. Hopefully you can see that there. It has a very simple function. When you press this button, it orders more Andrex from Amazon. Now, other toilet tissue manufacturers are available, as are other home goods delivery services. Now, I bought this as a bit of fun, but I have a 5-year-old who likes to abuse this button and has pressed it a few too many times when it wasn't necessary. And the result of that was that at the start of the year, we had this massive stockpile of Andrex. But of course, when lockdown hit, that started to look like good planning. Anyway, from the ridiculous to the sublime, let me talk about my panel this morning. I've been really pleased that these 5 people have said yes to join me to talk about this important topic. And they really bring 5 very different backgrounds and different perspectives on IoT. And the order of appearance is important. Let me explain. So we're going to start with what we call the edge, which is compute activity that happens on devices in the field. And Mo Dabba from Humor is going to be talking about edge processing, specifically edge AI. After that, Adrian Sutton from Vortex will be talking about the IoT devices that they have, but also specifically the Vortex Mesh Network, which is a really interesting piece of technology that allows data from devices to get back to the cloud in sometimes complex and challenging environments. After that, Niall Moran from Microsoft will be talking about the Azure capabilities for managing devices and exploiting the data they can provide. Now, Azure actually goes all the way out to the edge, so there's something called Azure Sphere that I'm sure Niall will talk about that can be deployed on edge devices. After that, since this is a local conference, I'm really pleased that Kira Campbell from Belfast City Council is joining us this morning to give us the Belfast perspective on how this technology has in the past and will in the future enable us to enjoy and make better use of the city once the lockdown's lifted. And our final speaker is Renata Samson from the Open Data Institute. A couple of years ago, the ODI released something called the Data Ethics Canvas, which allows decision makers around these types of solutions to pick through some of the potential ethical issues that might arise with some types of IoT implementation. So in just a second, I'm going to hand over to Mo. Mo and I have been working together on end-to-end IoT solutions for a couple of years now. So Mo, I'm really glad you've been able to join us this morning. I'm looking forward to what you have to say. Mo.